What's
All right. Speaking of movies and segues, let's move on to. We wanted
Segways?
to.
These ones?
Well, like 2 weeks ago, after I edited the show, I did a live reaction to the It trailer.
Yeah.
And then all three of us just watched it once again with the lights off in the studio. And
It wasn't weird.
It was really creepy.
It wasn't weird, and I wasn't holding anybody's hand. Or maybe I was. Maybe I'm lying.
I think you're lying. You were holding a hand.
Anyway, we started reminiscing about how these old movies freaked us out when we were kids, and how they're actually kind of having a resurgence because relative to like comic book movies, these horror movies have a huge following, but they like comic movies do, but they don't cost an arm and a leg to make. It's not like $100 million budget. It's like a $5 to $10 million budget can make an amazing horror film if they do it right. So they're having sort of a resurgence in recent years. So we kind of wanted to reminisce a little bit about how we feel, or like the old movies and how they made us feel, like the ones that freaked us out when we were kids. I remember my dad in particular let us watch all the movies my mom wouldn't when we were way too young. Like I have vivid memories of Nightmare on Elm Street. Like I didn't want to go to bed. He haunts the dreams. That's how he kills.
That's how he gets you.
Dad, I
I'm
can't
never
go to
sleeping again.
And speaking of it, my sister, like, I made her watch the trailer, and she was kind of freaking out when I made her watch it because she had vivid clown nightmares from ages 5 to 8 because my dad let her watch it when she was 5 years old. She let her watch the first It when she was 5, and she had these nightmares.
Isn't she actually afraid of clowns too?
Yeah, she has a fear of clowns now because of it, but she had watching that. I remember I started up, didn't tell her what it was, and she was just like, she saw the bug going towards the drain. She's like, "Is this fucking it? Is this it?" She didn't even know it was a thing. She's like, "God damn it, Joel!"
Definitely tell, like, because I saw they did a side by side of like the original trailer versus the new.
Very
trailer.
similar.
Well, it's like, wow.
And then my mom texted me the next day, said, "Stop scaring your sister." So apparently she told on me.
Now, as
even
scary
when
as
you're
it
almost
was as a kid,
still tattling.
I have big hopes for the It movie, and I just hope that they find a way to fix the ending.
They because the reason the ending didn't work was because they had to use practical effects back in the 80s that weren't scary. It just wasn't. It was like a giant puppet monster at the end, and it was not scary. And so they're with the modern CGI, they'll be able to fix it.
Think they're gonna hold that in their pocket all the way and not like give anything away about it?
I think they'll either do that or just see the reaction at the end, or they'll change it up entirely so people already kind of know what to expect from the ending if they do it based on the book. So they might try and change it up a little bit.
Yeah. I was extremely sheltered as a child. I didn't watch a single rated R movie until I was like 14. So my exposure to like scary movies was very minimum, but I'm a huge pussy, and Chucky scared the shit out of me. Like just seeing Chucky, like I didn't even have to see the fucking movie. Just seeing that doll, I was like, nope, get that doll away from me.
You know what's funny that you said that, as that was actually going to be one of the movies our characters was Chucky. It scared the shit out of me, and my mom is kind of an asshole, and she bought me a Chucky doll this is when we still lived in California, so I would have been like 2 or 3. But it scared the hell out of me too.
Don't worry, he probably won't murder you.
Mom! It's just a doll. Looks just the same as the movie.
Yeah, it's. I remember Chucky was a very freaky one. Nightmare on Elm Street for me. What else?
Oh, one thing, and it's oddly enough, it affects my food now. So I don't like Freddy Krueger either. It used to scare the shit out of me when I was younger too. And I watched it when I was with my mom, and I don't like Italian sausage. One, because I just don't like Italian sausage, but also in one of the movies with Freddy Krueger, they were eating a pizza or something, and all the sausages on it turned into Freddy Krueger heads. And for the longest time, I didn't like Italian sausage because of that. Like for a long time, now I just don't like it because I don't like fennel.
You know, living with a 11-year-old now, I kind of wonder about those things. 'Cause it's weird how like stuff like that will stick with you for so long, and you don't even like know. Like you can expose a kid to something that seems mundane to you. Like I bet your mom didn't think it was that scary when you watched it with her, and then. But it stuck with you for years, and you had like a phobia against a certain type of food because of Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 28 years old right now, and still, I mean, now it's because of fennel, but still remember that sometimes. Like, God, these could all be Freddy Krueger heads right here.
Have you guys seen any movies recently that have come out in the like recent years that you like?
When it comes to recent, I mean.
Scary,
Like horror movies.
I mean, I want to give a little homage more to some old stuff. Freddy versus Jason, terrible movie, but I loved it. It was bringing
some
together.
of those horror movies, like in the early 2000s, started to become more like action movies. Like Freddy versus Jason wasn't really horror; it was just a gory action
like
movie.
Jason X. Do you remember Jason
X when he went to
Oh
space?
my
That's what I was
goodness.
gonna say next.
That was I remember
they
being
were
like 12 years
terrible
old, and I'm
movies,
like,
but
I'm not
kinda
even
fun to
scared
watch.
scared about this. This is just hilarious and some good action.
It's one of those terrible movies that, like, when it's on TV, you're like, oh, I'm not watching anything else, really. I guess I'll watch this.
Let's not ignore the fact that when you're like in that teenage year, horror movies almost always have more boobs than any other movies.
Yep.
True.
They take advantage of that for some odd reason. Horror movies have the most boobage.
They did that in like
it's a good trade-off. It's like you get the shit scared out of you, but you get to see boobs, so the punishment fits the crime.
I've always been a big fan of like The Conjuring and stuff like that. Those like
I didn't even think about those. For some reason, those fell out of my brain entirely. But yeah, Conjuring 1 and 2 are fantastic.
they're always good. They're really creepy. Again,
did you see the Annabelle? That came out recently.
Yeah,
That was kind of a spin-off of The Conjuring, but it's actually based on a true doll that was haunted, but it was actually a Raggedy Ann doll. And they made it look way freakier in the actual show. But that Raggedy Ann doll is still in a museum back in the Northeast. That this lady and her husband,
the Warrens.
Yes, they have a museum just full of like these supernatural artifacts that are either haunted or possessed, and I kind of want to go there and steal them.
I have one more.
Fuck that.
You want to go and steal them?
That's a whole lot of fuck no.
I want to release.
I have one more franchise of movies that aren't really horror movies. I don't think they're categorized as horror, but Saw. Those
they were
are
definitely
super
survival horror.
Yeah, I said. Well, see, I wasn't sure if it was that or like more like suspense kind of thing. I don't know.
I mean, kind of towards the end, it turned more into like torture porn.
Those actually scare me a lot. And
the first one blew everyone.
First one,
no one knew what to expect.
No, but they all scare me now because, like, I wonder how many people watch those and think about doing that.
That brings me to what I was going to say next. Is
it brings real life killers?
Movies like The Strangers. I mean, those are just crazy people who just kill, or
that
The Devil's
one was
Rejects.
Freaky.
Like, there legitimately is some crazy fucking people. I mean, it brought me to something. I mean, we were just talking about something else earlier. The movie Split. I mean, this guy has. I mean,
yeah, I haven't seen that movie.
You need
to see it. You need to see it. It's amazing.
Have you?
No, don't even say it. Just have you seen the early M. Night Shyamalan movies?
Have you seen all his movies?
I've seen some of his. Yeah.
List all the movies that you've seen of his.
I mean, I don't know. I know I've seen them. Some.
Just bring up a list.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
No. It actually kind of does. Okay, you guys talk real fast. I'm just gonna pull something up real quick.
I think the more it's kind of funny. Like some people love the supernatural type horror movies, but they don't like the realistic ones because it's like, oh, that could really fucking happen. Like you said with Strangers, I remember that one freaked me out too. And they said that was based on a true story, but basically they just found a crime scene.
Have you seen these 4 movies right here?
Actually, really love that movie a lot.
Okay, as long as you've seen all 4 of those, then you got to see Split.
Yeah, I watched it last night for the first time. Fucking amazing.
Is it on
James McAvoy?
Can I rent it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's
if you can
VOD right now. I think.
That's what?
Pretty sure.
I downloaded it, but I don't know if you can actually rent it. Yeah, I was having trouble finding a place to rent it, so I had to download it. But it was.
It looks.
Dude, James McAvoy, really like we were talking about it. The way he plays the character, like he can just kind of change his mannerisms, the way he
he
just
changed
stands there,
the
and
way
looks
his
at
face
people.
would move when he talked.
Yeah, and you just
way
knew
he
he
would-
was a new personality.
like,
You would start to
change
get
his
used
posture.
to which one he is. Like, oh no, now he's Dennis. Oh shit, now he's Patricia.
Now he's Hedwig.
Now he's Hedwig, the 9-year-old.
Hedwig.
But no, it was fantastic. You definitely need to
so
watch
good.
it as soon as possible. Like tonight, just go home.
You know, the scary part about people doing things that they may see in movies, like the potential for them to do that, is before this It trailer really isn't reflective of what happened in real life. But do you remember when people were doing that weird clown thing?
Oh, dude, yeah, that was like last October.
Yeah,
like,
That was last year.
I was
It's
listening
very
to a
timely for this
podcast.
trailer to come out.
exactly. Well, and that was one of my thoughts, and that's why I considered Saw. As
Apparently,
movies.
clowns are boycotting this movie. Which
Yeah, like it's
who the fuck
like
cares,
a
but-
legitimate thing.
They're like,
Really?
they're like after this whole clown epidemic
we were
last
just
year,
recovering.
and now it's like people are. It's just like making everyone scared of clowns again.
Maybe you should find another profession.
Maybe don't be a clown. I don't know.
We're clowning around.
Oh,
One
we got
movie-
a funny guy over here.
One movie that came out in the recent years that I wanted to mention. I don't know if you guys have seen It Follows.
Oh yes, I have.
You haven't seen it?
Who is it?
Oh
What is it?
man,
It's a
it's a super low budget film.
Yeah, it's a very low. It was an independent film, but it was scary as hell. It's basically about a supernatural creature that, and it was so creepy. But it like starts with this girl, and she has been dating this guy, and they finally hook up for the first time, and then she like wakes up tied to a chair, and he's like, okay, do you see that? Do you see that thing coming? She's like, yes, and it was like this old lady just kind of walking very slowly to her. It's like, you have to stay ahead of it. You have to keep going, and if it catches up to you, it will kill you, and then it'll kill the next person down the line. So basically, it was a sexually transmitted monster. Like once they had sex, it was following her instead of him, and she could see it, but no one else can see it. Unless
Really?
and it follows at like this real leisurely pace, but it never stops ever. And it can look like anyone. It can just start coming at you in a crowd looking like something different, and then you just notice the blank look in the face, and you're like, "Oh shit, I got to get out of here." But the only way to get rid of it was to have sex with someone else, and it would pass on to them. But if it killed that person, then it would come after you again. So it was like it would come down the line. So the only
What? So if you transmitted it to somebody, you weren't safe.
No, you weren't safe because if
they
that
would have to
person got
transmit
killed
it to
by
somebody
it,
else.
they would have
So you got to hope it gets transmitted to like tons of people.
Yeah, you want it to get transmitted to at least a couple hundred people.
Because I remember at one point in the movie she just hooks up with someone randomly just to get it off her jock, and it kills that person and ends up coming after her again, like within a few days.
Man, how did I forget about that movie? It was so good.
It's so freaky too.
Yeah?
Because
It's something I can rent also.
Yeah, that's been
It's
out
been
for
out
a couple years.
Okay, maybe I'll watch that tonight. That
have
sounds
you guys seen
really good.
Lights Out?
Yes. Did you see the original short film that it was based on?
Yes.
That,
I don't get to watch very many horror
I
movies
couldn't
these
watch
days.
it all the
There
way
was
through.
so there was like a viral video going around probably 5 years ago where like they literally was like in a hallway and the guy shuts the light off and then a person's like silhouette
You can see
shows
the
up and then he
silhouette.
turns it back on and the silhouette's gone and he just turns it off again and turn it back on. And
So you can only see them at night.
yeah, you can only see it in the dark, and in the light, it just like literally vanishes. And then he turned it off, and it was like 2 feet from his face, and turned back on. So it was this viral video, and it was just real short. And then
They actually got that same director
that
to
made that
direct
video.
the feature
They
film.
made a full length film, but that's like the monster in it, like basically, and it can't go into the light. So like it made for some really suspenseful, freaky things. Like when you would just turn the lights off,
You're like,
'Cause
"Get your
it
phone,
would-
get
it
your
would
phone,
just-
get your
it would be
phone."
like a flash, like she's just there when the lights off,
Really?
and gone. And
So it's
there,
like
gone.
simultaneously.
Yeah, it's creepy. But
I mean, I
that
feel
was
like they
really
could have
cool.
done a little bit better on the story of it, but I think that the suspense and the moments that it had in the movie kind of made up for it because I had a good time.
Yeah, it was all about it was one of the,
The
scarier
suspense,
ones
yeah.
I've seen in years. It was really good. Man, there have been some good horror movies. I still need to see Get Out. I haven't seen that yet.
It's done really, really, really well.
Oh, I've seen Get Out.
I
I was like, Get Out. I'm like, what was that one? I was thinking a little further back.
The Jordan Peele one.
Yeah, and oh man, that was a good one. Like, I hope that he can do more like that because
Annabelle
that was
2 is
such a good
coming out,
movie.
I think, this summer.
Yeah, I don't know about I don't know
See,
about
I've been
release
kind
this
of-
year,
sometime.
but they are doing another
I've been kind
one.
of sheltered from like horror movies because I've always either I've like had a girlfriend for the longest time, and they didn't want to watch horror movies, and I don't like watching them by
Mindy
myself.
loves horror movies. I'm a big old pussy. Like when we first got together, like she wanted to watch all the Paranormal Activities up to that point, and there was only 3 of them at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Those are super suspenseful.
Can we do
too.
it in the daytime?
Can we do it on a Sunday at noon,
At
please?
noon?
With
Is that
all
okay?
the shades open.
Like she makes fun of me for this shit to this day, because anytime that I download a new horror movie or anything like that, she's like, "You want to watch it in the fucking daytime, fucking pussy?"
And you are like, yes, I do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, please. No, I don't know. I love horror movies. It's been I don't know what it is. It's just the whole adrenaline rush, I guess, of horror movies, and
Yeah, it releases dopamine.
Yeah, and I've always kind of preferred the supernatural stuff because it like ties more into magical things and like a lot of biblical type of thinking. Like they use a lot of mythology, and whether it be from like more recent like biblical times or back to like Greek and stuff, and monsters from those myths and stuff like that. That's the kind of shit I love when they make it really freaky. Like when they do Fright Night? That was a really old vampire movie, but it was back when vampires were actually scary and not sexualized. And it's like, yeah, that's the kind of vampire I want to see. Not the ones you want to bone, but the ones that want to rip your actual throat out.
Rest in peace, Anton Yelchin, for the remake.
Yeah. I miss that guy already.
He was actually in a good horror movie, like a little bit before he died.
Yeah, I know.
Green Room.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that.
I have it.
That's one of the more
I
realistic
haven't gotten
ones.
to watch it yet.
It has Patrick Stewart in it.
Patrick
too.
Stewart, yeah.
Really?
It's probably another one of those. I mean, it kind of like falls from what I saw in the previews. Kind of was like the Red
I need
State.
to see that. It's been out for a while.
Did you see that one, Red State by Kevin Smith?
No, but I remember.
It's a horror movie based in
remember
reality,
about it.
just basically satirizing.
Oh,
the,
yeah, I
the
remember
Westboro
the-
Baptist Church.
I remember listening to there was a podcast that talked about it.
Yeah, Green Room's something I need to put on my list. Actually, I completely forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, it's him, Patrick Stewart. It looks really good. I haven't had the time to sit down and watch it.